Okay, good morning, everyone. We do have a quorum, and of course, this is I don't know, great day for Jeff, bittersweet day, but this will be his last meeting, and so be extra nice and kind to him today. Yeah. The first item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from the June 28th meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next, Jeff.
Thank you. This is we have before you is the final draft 2024-2025 TPO work program. This work program has been reviewed by our TDOT and Federal Highway Administration partners and is recommended for approval by the technical committees. It lays out the 2-year work program of our transportation planning activities that us and our partners will be undertaking over the next 2 fiscal years, beginning October 1st of 2023. Lays out the budget for those various task items and the responsible agencies, including the City of Knoxville and our local partners, TDOT and the TPOe and the Knox Planning. Some of the major activities in this that we'll be working on this coming year is our long-range transportation plan update, which you'll hear a little bit more about from Mike in a few minutes. Travel demand model, which feeds into that long-range transportation plan, a lot of data crunching there. We are going to be continuing with our pavement management program that we finished up last year, which we had about 6 participants, local governments participating in that program, and next year we anticipate 8 or 9 local governments participating in that, a very successful and very appreciative program that we've had and being able to fund, and appreciate the support of our local governments in doing that. And then just our ongoing planning activities to maintain the TPO as a certified MPO across the state, and then across the country and the state, and then our ongoing data collection, crash data, and traffic count data for that. So a lot of it is the same and that we do on a daily basis, but this work program is addressing our long-range transportation as the major planning effort that will come out of this as we have to update that every 4 years. So staff and technical committee recommend approvals, and I'll be glad to entertain any questions if they are, Madam Chair.
Any questions for Jeff? Yes, sir. Oh, I thought you were. I thought you were pressing your button for a comment. Any questions or comment? I know a lot of hard work has gone into it. As Jeff said, you have a unanimous technical committee recommendation, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Anything else? Any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Wonderful. Next, Craig with a update on the congressionally directed projects.
Yep, just wanted to provide a quick update on congressionally directed projects, which essentially are earmarks, but we don't call them earmarks anymore, that were out of the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023, Public Law 117-328, if you want to put yourself to sleep with some extensive congressional research. And we had 4 projects here in the region, which did fairly well as it relates to the overall total of projects that were granted funding of 7 within the state of Tennessee. 3 of these are specifically within the planning area, and a 4th is just outside of it, and our neighbors outside in Sevier County. These funds are made available through the HIP program, so administered through the Federal Aid Highways process. The funds are available for obligation until September 30th, 2026. The list below there is the table, the demo IDs that are listed in the bill, specifically $3 million for the Blount County Greenway project. That's a project that is currently in our TIP. We'll be making some changes to the project to reflect that total funding and should allow that to move forward with the full construction of the segments as currently understood. South Knoxville Waterfront Pedestrian Bicycle Bridge, $500,000. That project is not currently in the TIP, and I'll be working with the city staff to get that added into our bike and pedestrian grouping to allow some additional preparatory design work on that project. State Road 35, this is Sevierville Road down in Maryville, construction and improvements. This is an existing project that has LSTBG money on it. This $1.5 million will provide some partial relief to that overall budget. We'll be working with TDOT to get those funds amended in. And then the fourth, outside of the area, State Road 449, extension of Veterans Boulevard over in Sevier County. Again, this is outside the planning area, but just for your information, $3 million was awarded to that project as well. And I will pause if there are any questions.
Questions, Jeff?
I just wanted to add to what Craig was talking about, the State Route 35 construction improvements in Maryville. If we're able to, with this $1.5 million, we'll be able to add, or at least replace some of our local STPG money that we utilize on projects and replace that with this congressionally designated project to help us in our effort to maintain a good balance to help pay for cost overruns. So this, normally we're not really, at least the staff-wide, I'll just editorial here that we're not real happy when congressionally designated projects come down because they don't provide enough funding to do what is necessary in that. But in this case, we'll have additional funding available for us to help keep our projects on schedule moving forward. So,
Good.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
No action required on this. It's just for your information.
All right, thank you, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Mike Conger with a mobility plan process update.
Yes, good morning. This is just a quick informational item, an update on our next long-range transportation plan update process. Jeff alluded to this in his discussion about the work program as one of the major items that we'll be working on over the next 2 fiscal years. Again, this is required for us to update our long-range plan every 4 years. You may recall the last plan we did, which doesn't seem that long ago to us, was the Mobility Plan 2045. It was adopted in May of 2021. So the next plan is due by May of 2025. But obviously it takes time to prepare that and go through the review process, so we're kicking that off here shortly. We did have consultants selected, and we're dotting the I's, crossing the T's, get the final contract settled, and then we'll be hoping to formally kick this off here in the next few weeks in early September-ish. I did also want to mention that we're coordinating with the Lakeway area in TPOe at the Morristown. We're tied together in terms of our time frame for doing the long-range plan because of our air quality conformity requirements. So this is the draft schedule that was in the proposal, so this is definitely subject to change, but we've laid out the required tasks. What we did identify is that even though that final deadline is in May of 2025, we actually really, if you look at it, to meet the review periods of both TDOT, Federal Highway, and the public review, we need to back that up to October of next year. So it's just about 1 year from now that we'll need basically the plan finalized in the draft final plan to go out for review. So one of the key components, of course, will be the public and stakeholder involvement. We'll be nailing that down as we further refine the scope and task schedule. We do want to have a mix of in-person and virtual engagement, online surveys. The last plan, if you'll recall, we started it basically right when COVID hit, which forced us to do everything virtual for public involvement. Was not ideal. We were, of course, the learning curve with all that. It did, give us some new tools to use for this process that we'll definitely implement again this time to get a broader outreach. But one thing with this time around that we're looking at is a task force, a subcommittee of stakeholders to really delve into the development of the plan. So we'll be reaching out to our technical committee members and maybe some other key stakeholders of the different modal groups, bike, ped, freight, others that will potentially involve in that. And then, of course, we'll have regular updates at your meetings as we move forward. And then lastly, Jeff also mentioned this, one aspect is our travel demand model update that will also be done in conjunction under a separate consulting contract. Our model covers 10 full counties and overlaps with the Lakeway area as shown on this map. So it's a major effort to gather the data and develop the inputs for this model. So it's our technical tool to be able to allow us to forecast what conditions might be like in the future given our population growth and our expected development patterns, run different scenarios of projects or other aspects to see, again, what may happen in the future to inform this plan and project selection process. So that we have a minor update with this first planning update effort, and then what we want to do is have a more visioning exercise also with this consulting firm, because we recognize a major update is needed for our model based on the platform that it's been around since 2010 timeframe. So along with that, we're looking at new data collection, a new household travel survey. This is a major effort where surveys are done, detailed travel patterns are collected, and we're working on that as a potential statewide effort combining with other MPO areas. So we'll be obviously informing you more as we head down that road. But just want to give you early heads up on this process. Again, you'll be hearing a lot more over the coming meetings, but if there are any questions right now, I can answer, or...
Jeff?
Yeah.
I have to keep talking. It's my last meeting, so you can't get out of here.
All out, Jeff.
Can't get out of here before 9:30. We feel within this plan update, if you recall, Mayor Jacobs and the rest of the board, that this board passed a resolution asking Department of Transportation to look at alternatives to address congestion I-40/75 in West Knoxville. And I'm looking at TDOT's planning staff there to our right, is they're paying really close attention to us that the mobility plan, but we need to work cooperative with TDOT, and with that, looking at alternatives to I-40/75, whether it's a beltway, whether it's choice lanes or expansion of I-40/75, and you know, we can't take the lead in that. It has to be a partnership with TDOT. So, so we have basically the next 18 months to be able to do that with TDOT. So I want to make sure that TDOT is aware of this opportunity and that keep the board aware of that. And I guess challenge the board to challenge TDOT and the staff to address that adequately. Thank you.
Well, if I could follow up on that, Matt Missouri with the TDOT long-range planning. We are also going to be in the process of updating our long-range transportation plan. So this will be a coordinated effort to make sure that everything that we do is in coordination with you and fits seamlessly within it. So challenge accepted.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Mike, I have just a couple.
Oh, sure.
Well, first of all, this is incredibly important, but what can we do at the county level or at the city and town level? I know you're going to have outreach and meetings, but is there anything we can do to prepare so that when we show up at these opportunities, we're bringing the information we need to bring?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We'll obviously be meeting with our jurisdictions in addition to our regular meetings here. We come out and talk to you about what you're seeing in development patterns in your jurisdiction counties, so that we can put that into the model correctly. Also, if you have local planning efforts that have already been conducted that identified projects, I'm thinking of obviously the big Knox County Advanced Knox plan that's wrapping up right now. That will feed directly into this regional mobility plan. So if there's other efforts like that, we want to know about it, and of course we'll reach out and ask you, other needs you might have, transportation related. So just have it on your radar is good.
Okay. And then you mentioned us getting the TPO board getting regular updates, and I would assume there's going to be a little information with that other than just a status of where we are, or? Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So with this, what we have scoped out is for the consultant to develop a project website, and there's a lot of new tools out there with GIS that you can do something sort of called story maps, and very interactive and easy to understand. You just scroll through and it shows you, here's your conditions of the roadways we've identified for congestion or safety, all those factors. And so that should really help get the information out. You'll be able to obviously share that with your constituents or stakeholders. So.
Perfect. Anything else? Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt one more time, but I failed to mention under the work program document that we have set aside in there approximately $650,000 for planning studies for our jurisdictions or our special studies that may come out of throughout the next couple of years. We have funded a few of those in the past, such as in Alcoa and in Oak Ridge, so and even Loudon also. But I think Sonora City also. But I think Loudon, City of Loudon, has even made a request just right now, or at least inquiry. Now maybe Ty could just elaborate on the type of project that they're interested in.
Sure. If now the time is appropriate. I'm substituting for Mayor Harris here with his proxy. My name is Ty Ross. I'm the city manager. We just completed an exciting planning retreat with the city council that occurred the first week of August. And big thing that comes out of a planning retreat is to plan some more, but at least plan the right ways. And one of the right ways is to solicit the help of the TPOe to get the transportation planning facet of what would be an overall comprehensive plan taken care of. So we're here on bended knee, seeking help with, again, the transportation aspects of what would be hopefully a comprehensive plan.
We've had a conversation with their city engineer and Jack Qualls, Economic Development Director, Loudoun County. So that's a project that we could fund and support, or we have supported, like Knox County and their advanced Knox study through the TPO. So it would be something that we'll work with you and staff will to develop assist with developing a scope of work and a budget, and that will come back to the TPO for an amendment to the work program for allocating planning funds for that. So, but that's the types of projects that we have those fundings available for you. Another one that's identified in the work program is in the town of Farragut, looking at the pedestrian issues along Kingston Pike in front of the high school and the new sort of town center, that area. So please, as you get some ideas or your staff does, approach the TPO staff for consideration. So I apologize for not mentioning that earlier.
All right. Major Tennessee Department of Transportation project updates. Matt, is that you or Dexter?
The Dexter and Christie show.
Christie.
TDOT has a lot of projects going on out there, and we just thought we'd take this opportunity for this tandem to give us an update on those projects. So appreciate Christie.
Good morning. My name is Christy Brown. I'm the Region 1 Director of Pre-Construction, and me and Dexter is going to give a few updates here for you. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the Knox County I-75 Emory Road interchange improvements. I know this image on the screen is a little bit small, but it is a DDI, diverging diamond interchange, similar to the 407. We are currently in the right-of-way appraisal and acquisition phase of development. We're early in that phase. We have 21 tracks that's impacted by the proposed improvements. We do anticipate quite a few condemnations on the project. So the project is slotted to go to construction in fiscal year 25. We anticipate a late 25 letting probably for this project. Right away will be the critical path. See if this works. You can see, I guess, I can get this pointer to work, but east of the interchange, if you're familiar with the area, there's the Casey's to the south, and to the north you've got Crystal's and McDonald's and Starbucks. We are constructing backage roads on that side of the interchange to provide access to all those businesses because the movements within the interchange will be limited to right in, right out. I think we have a video, just kind of give you of what it's going to look like. I'll go ahead and mute it. But so this video was prepared for the public meeting we held. You can see the north 75 PALs on the left of the screen, Halls is to the right.
Motorists wishing to travel either eastbound or west.
Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do that. I was trying to get my...
I didn't flinch, but this guy did.
I was trying to get my hand up there. So you can see the movements through the interchange with the arrows there. North 75 is to the top of the screen. And again, going to Powell is to the left and Halls is to the right. So this is exiting northbound on I-75 coming into the interchange. You can see we're widening the exit ramp to include 2 right turn lanes and 2 left turn lanes. And you can see there's the backage roads I mentioned earlier. At the bottom of the screen is the backage road that feeds Casey's, and then there's another gas station there with Buddy's in it. And then to the north, you've got the CVS, McDonald's, Crystal's, and Starbucks. So all people want to travel, turn left, will use the intersection there at Connor and Emory Road. As I mentioned, we have 21 tracks impacted. All of those are business impacts. So. I'll add too, as part of the project, we're also doing some signal interconnectivity between the signals there at the interchange, and I think down to Danaher going toward Halls, and Haskell going toward Powell. So this is the west side of the interchange. Kroger is to the left. To the right. You see the Waffle House and Weigel's. They're to the left of the screen. That's approaching I-75. We do have sidewalk through the interchange to accommodate pedestrians as well. And this is approaching the intersection there at Connor.
What a hike to get to the crosswalks, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, we don't, like I said, we have the sidewalk on one side going through the interchange. Okay. You want to go ahead? I'm going to stop it here. This is just kind of traffic, but. There we go. You want that?
Yeah. All right. So as Christy said, I'm Dexter Justice. I'm the Director of Project Management here in Region 1, and I'm going to give an update on 3 projects real quick. I don't know about how quick it'll be, but I'm going to give an update. We'll say that. The first project I want to give an update on is I think it's been a couple months ago I was in here talking about Cherokee Trail, Alcoa Highway. So I want to continue that theme. talk about Alcoa Highway a little more. And what we have here is a kind of an implementation map for the corridor as a whole. I know everybody's aware we've been working on Alcoa Highway for some time. We continue that work. We made a deep dive this federal fiscal year, and this is, like I say, kind of an update of the entire corridor. We have 7 projects along the corridor. Several of them, or 2 of them, are pretty much complete with construction, which is the light blue to the left of the screen, which is the connectivity down next to the airport, and then the green project up near on the right side of the screen as you get closer to Knoxville. Those 2 projects are functionally complete at this point. The blue project that's kind of in the middle is under construction and probably, I don't know, I want to say 60 to 75% of the way complete to date. So those 3 projects have made significant progress in getting us to where we want to be. As I mentioned back in the May letting, the orange project, the Cherokee Trail section, went to construction for $187 million, the largest let contract in the state's history to date. So we're proud of that project and ready, and it is underway today. We have a contractor out there working. It's a 4-year, 3-month construction. We talked about it in depth last time I was here. So that really leaves the red section in the middle, which will be the last project to go to construction in the future, and the two projects that make up relocated Alcoa Highway. It looks like there's 8 projects on the screen, but the reality is there's 2 purple. Those to the south and to the north of Pellissippi Parkway. That's one project split with a brown piece in the middle. The brown piece just went to letting last Friday, and I'll tell you a little more about how we split those up before we get into that. So relocated Alcoa Highway, we're delivering in 2 stages. The 2 outside pieces are the purple pieces that were in the last slide, and then those are stage 2. The middle piece that's highlighted by the red delineators on the top part of the screen there is stage 1. We let this project construction, like I said, last Friday. The reason we had to split this project up this way is it's a north of $300 million to let this project as a whole. We haven't traditionally let projects of that size at one time. That would be the majority of the state's budget in one letting, one project. So we look for a way to deliver this project in 2 stages. If we had delivered it the traditional way, where we delivered a piece to the north and a piece to the south independently, it would have been a traffic problem for the department. You can imagine, for driving south on Alcoa Highway from Knoxville towards Maryville, and we had delivered the north piece first, you would have to drive on the new relocated Alcoa Highway, get back on Pellissippi Parkway, then back on existing Alcoa Highway. It's a traffic scenario we can't live with. So we came up with this, develop the middle piece first, which is off of Alcoa Highway alignment and becomes more of a Cusick Road interchange relocation project. And it gets us a long way through the development of this project without impacting traffic on Alcoa Highway. It allows us to provide connectivity for Arconic, the Northview Business Park, and the newly constructed Amazon facility, and keep traffic off of Alcoa Highway from those facilities, which is an important piece of the implementation of this relocated Alcoa Highway. That outlines the partners that we have along the corridor there. And the design features for this stage 1 included 1.6 miles of roadway, almost 0.7 of a mile of bridge length, 6 bridges, 6 retaining walls, 2 interchanges, one there at Pellissippi Parkway, which is a major, almost directional type interchange, and an interchange for the what will be a newly constructed Wright Road interchange. 1 roundabout, 1 traffic signal, addition of moving the Blount County Greenway system through this piece is included in stage 1 as well. A bunch of natural stream design to mitigate all the stream impacts that we have on the project. ITS equipment through the corridor and lighting. So you can see there's a lot involved with the project. This is a quick video fly through of this corridor. I'll give you a little bit. Has to start on high, right? Let's see. All right, so if we're driving here, this is the newly constructed interchange out south of the the airport that we're circling around real quick. And then we will fly through the relocated Alcoa Highway, and I'll show you the parts included in stage 1. Again, this bridge is already constructed today. You can see that as soon as you go under the bridge, relocated Alcoa Highway, it'll take a right turn and start on new alignment. You can see in the forefront there, existing Alcoa Highway, and how we're moving off of that alignment. This interchange will be in stage 2, and again, we did this so it ties with existing Alcoa Highway on the south and on the north. So when stage 2 comes in, we can build all this with minimal impact to traffic and turn it on overnight. The relocated Alcoa Highway. That shows how it connects to the airport, all those kinds of things, the existing Alcoa Highway. So stage 1 really picks up right here. You can kind of see Cusick Road has been relocated. It's bisecting today's Cusick Road, and you'll have a new roundabout here at this location. This roundabout I do not believe is in stage 1, but will be in stage 2. But we kind of start right here where this new road crosses Cusick Road to the right here with this interchange. This is the right road interchange, is included in stage 1. It will not connect to Alcoa Highway until stage 2, but it will provide connectivity from Pellissippi Parkway over to the Arconic facility today, connect to existing Cusick Road, allowing access to the North Park Business Park via this new bridge at Regal Road that we're flying over right now. And then this is going through the interchange that will be delivered in stage 1 at Pellissippi Parkway. You can see multiple bridges at this interchange. I think this is where there are at least 5 bridges at this interchange. A large flyover ramp going from Pellissippi to northbound Alcoa Highway, relocated Alcoa Highway. Big footprint. This is exactly where the Cusick Road interchange is today. So the right road interchange will be kind of the replacement of the Cusick Road interchange, and this big directional interchange will be in its place. Those 2 bridges in the center on Pellissippi are already there, and stage 1 will be complete when you see this next bridge going over Alcoa Highway just south of that point. So that's where stage 1 will finish, and then stage 2 will pick up and build that bridge and this Singleton Station Road interchange at existing Alcoa Highway. So we'll come back stage 2, do the 2 ends, tie it together, turn it on, and we'll have relocated to Alcoa Highway in a few years. Yeah.
With that being done, how long until are we going to extend Pellissippi Parkway after that?
So Pellissippi Parkway extension project is currently in a right-of-way field review, or right-of-way NEPA right-of-way reevaluation stage. Excuse me. So when that reevaluation is finished, we anticipate it being this year, we'll be able to go to right-of-way. We don't have construction funding identified for the extension of the Pellissippi Parkway at this time, but right-of-way will get us a good piece moving towards that. Right.
Dexter, just real quick, and I probably missed it. And maybe it's with the tie-in with the new Alcoa Highway, the old Alcoa Highway. Is there going to be any traffic calming? You know, if you're headed, I guess, north, and you have those businesses on the right-hand side across from the airport, and it is literally Frogger trying sometimes to get onto. Is there going to be anything, stoplights or anything?
Yeah,
like
so the majority of the traffic that is currently going through there is bypassing that area, right? So that's what relocated Alcoa Highway is about. It's going to be more like an interstate. So most of that traffic will just be free flow like they do on interstate now. That interchange just south of the airport, if you want to go do business on that section that you're describing, you'll get off at that interchange and then you'll get on it. That road will become a city street. It'll be Alcoa's road at that point, and I would imagine it will really promote some redevelopment through that area. Having taken all that traffic off, we'll be removing so much traffic from that area. Yeah.
Now that section's we did a grant down there and already studied that area as well. So to give Alcoa an idea of what they can do with that sort of thing. So a lot of that's already been looked at, and we've got some stuff that's been kind of come up with. So got some ideas coming.
Yeah, great opportunity for the community for sure. Let's see. Okay. There we go. As I said, we let this project construction last Friday. Current completion date for the project is October 31st of 2027, so it's a 4-year project, and the parent low bid is $159 plus million, almost $160 million, which will make this about the 3rd largest contract that we've let to date with the department. And Charles Blaylock and Son was the low bidder by about $2 million. We had 2 bidders on this job, so it was a very, I mean, $2 million sounds like a lot of money, but in a $160 million bid, it's 1% roughly. So it's a really tight competition we had there, so we feel really good about it. Clearly, it's not been awarded yet, but it came in about our estimate. I would be surprised if it's not awarded. So we feel really good about that. It's been a really big year for Region 1 as a whole. We had by far the biggest year lettings that we've had, north of $600 million in Region 1. Haven't done that before, nowhere near that. About 350 is the biggest we've had, but the biggest majority of that money been spent right here on Alcoa Highway in this area. We had another big project up in Sevier in Jefferson County as well, but it's a big win for this area. Moving on to 2 more projects of interest. One, the Knox County I-40 interchange at Watt Road. This was a general fund transfer project that in 2022, I know we've got a contract with the county on this project to improve this interchange. Recently went in. We have a kickoff meeting next week to get this project really started in earnest in the development. It obviously is doing what you see on the screen there. Maybe that makes sense to you, maybe it doesn't, but we are redoing what the interchange is. It's currently a wide diamond interchange, traditional interchange, where you come off the exit and you go to a red light, and if you want to turn left, you have to go across the interstate and go to another red light. So you have 2 red lights that you encounter as you get off the interchange. We're changing this interchange to what is called a SPUI, a single point urban interchange. So if you get off the interchange at the exit ramp in the future, you'll go through 1 red light. So that makes it a lot more efficient, right? Both sides of the interstate use the same red light. So if you're turning left, you go through that 1 red light and then you're through. Obviously, that's a reduction in delay, right? If you're going through 1 light instead of 2. So that's one of the big benefits of this interchange. Obviously, it modernizes it, adds additional storage on the ramps, and separates traffic for people that want to go right, don't have to go through a red light at all. They have that free flow movement. Clearly, there'll be another light as you get up to El Camino or Everett Road to the north. And there's also an LIC project that's not shown on the screen. It carries a 4-lane curb, raised median section on north up to Buttermilk Road. So it's a big collaboration between us and Knox County. It's a highly needed project, and we're excited to get this project kicked off next week. We do anticipate 4 to 5 years to get it to construction. There will be right-of-way obviously involved, utilities involved, NEPA studies, environmental impact assessments as we go north along Watt Road up to Buttermilk. I think there's a creek up through there, and we're cutting into the side of a pretty good hill up through there. So it's a really good project, and we look forward to get it going. One more project of interest is Knox County I-40 interchange at Campbell Station Road. Very similarly, we have a contract with the City of Farragut on this project. We're in the early stages. We had the kickoff meeting just 2 weeks ago on this project. We also anticipate a 4 to 5 year development on this one. Much like the Emory Road interchange, this one will be converted to a divergent diamond, and I'm sure you're familiar with this interchange. Currently, it goes under the interstate, and we will be moving it to the west and going over the interstate. So it'll be a significant grade change for those traveling on Campbell Station Road to make that happen. It'll be significantly different than what you see there today. Right-of-way impacts on this one as well. We will have some commercial impacts. There's no way around it. This is a concept at this point. The actual location, we are studying 2 or 3 other concepts as well, as far as location and how we can best do this. You can imagine by changing the grade and going over the interstate compared to what is currently below that has ramp changes, and you can see to the west of this interchange, we would be impacting the on and off ramp of the existing interchange pretty significantly. So we're trying to do some feasibility studies on different alternatives to see how we can least impact those existing ramps. We want to avoid as much closure to ramps as we can. That'll have, if we have to close ramps, it may be inevitable that we have to do some of that for some time for the construction. It will have a impact on adjacent interchanges. Clearly, if we shut down the eastbound off-ramp to Campbell Station Road, that traffic that wants to get off there is probably going to start getting off at Level Road, which is already congested as well. Or they decide to get it off at Watt Road, which has a different congestion pattern as they transfer that. So we are studying how we can best construct this interchange, what it would have to look like to lessen those impacts as much as possible. So again, we think 4 to 5 years on this one, major change, modernize the interchange. For the most part, I think if we can tackle these 2 interchanges, we will finally have replaced all the original interchanges along I-40 west of town. So that's a big accomplishment. Brings us into the modern age for how we want to move traffic through these corridors. I think that's all the major project updates we have today. Certainly open to any questions you have about them.
Just to clarify, Dexter, the 4 to 5 years development time is to get the project to construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Christy, Dexter, thank you so much. Also, this is an incredible engineering feat. The mayor was just noting that too. So thank you to your staff, your team. I mean, it's incredible. I do have one just kind of a question on the Alcoa Highway. Thank you all for doing all of that. That just is going to be an incredible impact for the whole East Tennessee region. As part of that project, is there any prediction or modeling or estimates of what that could possibly do to expanded air travel? I know we have tons of leakage to Nashville,
Sure.
and even Atlanta, so I didn't know if that was part of your, stakeholder input, if we have any idea how that might impact growth in air travel.
Yeah, so I don't know that it was part of the studies for what we're doing, but we're clearly making it a safer travel route to go from Knoxville down to the airport. Just what you mentioned with there really needs to be, with the type of developments that are along there, we need to have red lights out there from a safety standpoint, but the traffic just can't handle it. We would have total gridlock if we put it out there. So that's what this is really all about, is make it more of a freeway type, free flow facility from Knoxville all the way to the airport, and it will not be identified as an interstate, but it's pretty much being built to interstate standards. There will be no driveways that attach directly to the Alcoa Highway. If you want to go anywhere, you'll have to take an exit ramp to go somewhere. So clearly we're addressing safety, we're addressing congestion, all those things that should mitigate and help the airport make a safer, more desirable place to go. Now, as we grow, I'm sure we'll get more air carriers and all those kinds of things. I hate to speak for the airport, but I hear good things are going on there as well.
Yeah, they really are at the airport. They're expanding their parking, and I think they're putting in new terminals. I think one of the most important things about this is for business travelers, you do have that free flow coming to Knoxville, and I think in between Knoxville and the airport now you'll see more hotels and restaurants and those sort of things. And then also when Pellissippi Parkway is completed going down to Townsend, that will give access to the park much easier probably than it currently is. I think that all those things are going to have a huge impact on our region with economic development and tourism.
Agreed.
Mayor?
I have just one question on the widening of the freeway from Level to the split.
Mm-hmm.
How will that fall into the 2 exit development?
So the 2 exits do not include the widening of the interstate, but we are developing the plan for the 2 interchanges to accommodate a widening of the interstate. So that has been identified in the I-40 corridor study that long range planning bid off a few years ago, that auxiliary lanes and widening the interstate is something that needs to be considered and addressed in the future, but that is not part of these two projects. But we are accommodating the design into our project so that the bridges will be wide enough, that kind of thing. The exit ramps and on-ramps will be positioned in a way that we wouldn't have to redo those ramps to implement the widening of the interstate.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff?
Other business, I just wanted to give you an update briefly on the hunt for a replacement for me. We've have a slate of candidates that we had hired a executive search firm to help us, that we're now reviewing that slate of candidates that was provided to us late last week, and we'll be looking at those and setting up Zoom interviews initially, and then hope to invite some candidates in here over the next couple of months. I will be sort of participating and providing ongoing support to the TPO and to planning on a sort of a consultant basis through the next 3 to 4 months through the end of the year to help out with the staffing that we have. And just as that reminder, Ellen Zaviska on our staff, she was our bike, ped, and crash person. She left about 2 weeks ago and is now working with the National Association of Metropolitan Planning Organizations. So staffing for the TPO is a little bit slim right now, but we're very well seasoned and qualified folks, and we'll be leaning on the support of our rest of the planning staff too to keep projects moving forward. And again, I'll be providing some on-call consultant services, quote unquote, through the end of the year and helping out. So got the next couple of meetings that are coming up, and I did want to introduce Emily Jackson. She is our AmeriCorps individual that we've had AmeriCorps staff for probably 10 years, I think, now, and she's our new AmeriCorps staff this year, and she'll be working on some of our bike pedestrian activities and our Smart Trips program, and probably several other things that we'll be asking her to do, given our workload that we have. So we welcome Emily to the Knoxville planning staff. That is all I have left. I do want to recognize Don Walker and Brian Boone showed up from Blount County and Maryville a little bit late. Maybe it was alcohol traffic, I guess.
Yes, it was.
Rolling roadblocks?
No, I think you're going to need some more guardrail down Alcoa Highway.
So, but glad you're here, but a little bit late. Thank you.
Has anyone signed up for public comment? All right. Jeff, before you get away, I know staff and Mayor Jacobs and anyone else who wants to get in on the picture with Jeff, we want to present him with a proclamation, and I'll read the proclamation on behalf of TPO Knox Regional. The Knoxville Regional TPO has a long history of thoughtful, collaborative coordination throughout the region owed to the enduring leadership of Director Jeff Welch. And whereas Jeff Welch has dedicated a 38-year career to the Knoxville Regional TPO, spending hundreds of hours of his life discussing tip amendments and project rankings in the subarctic climes of the small assembly group. And whereas his lengthy service to the TPO is one of the many ways he has dedicated himself to the community. He helped found the Tennessee MPO Association, served on a Transportation Research Board Strategic Highway Committee and the AMPO Policy Committee, was a task force member for the AMPO Transportation Equity Act, served on the Tennessee Steering Committee to study airports statewide, and volunteered for local boards like the East Tennessee Community Design Center. And whereas Jeff's forward thinking and creative problem solving have bettered our region over the past 4 decades. He led the organization to allocate federal funds to support multimodal projects as early as the mid-90s, launched the award-winning Smart Trips program in 2002, supported the creation of Katz Transit Center, and played an integral role in the 9 Counties One Vision and Plan East Tennessee. And whereas he acquired 1 gray hair for each day that I-40 West achieved level of service F. And whereas his guidance, support, and sound decision-making have greatly influenced our region, and his contributions will be sorely missed by staff and partners alike. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Knoxville Regional TPO expresses immense gratitude for Jeff Welch's unwavering support to the people and places of East Tennessee.
Thank you very much. It's like losing a child, I think. I am raising a baby here, so it's been fun. It's been enjoyable. It's been a heck of a learning experience. I've enjoyed working with a lot of technical folks and mayors throughout here and other elected officials over the 38 years. It doesn't seem like 38 years at all because I'm not that old anymore. So, but I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to, just doing a whole lot of nothing, I guess, and trying to find other adventures out there. But it will be a transition, and it's been a great working experience with a lot of partners, state, local, and federal partners. So appreciate everything going on and leadership that you all provide. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jeff.
Yeah, actually, it's okay. So if you indulge me for just a second, in professional wrestling, there's this term good hand. And a good hand is the consummate professional. Maybe not the superstar, but the person you can always turn to who's going to get the job done. A team player, doesn't look for accolades, but without people like that, the organization doesn't work. And that's what Jeff is. A while back, we needed to find an interim director for Knoxville, Knox County Planning. And here poor Jeff is kind of winding his career down, starting to relax and enjoy things. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, buddy, I got another job for you to do. And he stepped up and did it. And that's what he always does. So I think I can speak on behalf of Mayor Kincannon here as well. When Knoxville and Knox County, we just appreciate you so much and everything that you've done. And just thank you.